We welcome you back inside the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig for the continuation of our 2025 PVL All-Filipino Conference. Iris Tolenada and the Capital1 Solar Spikers all set to face Louis Romero and the Farm Fresh Foxies for our second game of this Tuesday doubleheader live here on One Sports, on One Sports Plus, and of course on Pilipinas Live. Good evening to all our viewers on Signal TV, and thank you for joining us for our final week of elimination round here in the PVL All-Filipino Conference. Tip Bianco alongside Jana Hido, our courtside reporter. Jana, are you feeling the vibes that it's already the last week of eliminations for this week?
You know what, Dip? I just realized it's day 29 of this conference. It's crazy. So I am feeling the vibes. Thank you for asking.
But good vibes, that is, right?
Good vibes, of course.
And of course, we're also joined by Noreen as our analyst for this evening. Noreen, ikaw ba nafe-feel mo na rin yung vibes of the end of eliminations before we go to the quarterfinals and the exciting play-in tournament?
All good vibes as well. You know, it's just so sad that it's just gone so fast.
Yeah.
You know, end of this round.
Day 29, as Jana mentioned, but the action continues. So let's bring in our team standings. The updated after the game earlier, of course, Signal HC Spikers winning in straight sets, and then this is the updated team standings as of right now.
Yeah, you can actually see where your favorite teams are, who's the top two, and then that traffic jam in the middle. But focus is really on the game at hand. You know, Farm Fresh trying to crawl into that middle part of the pack, and Capital1 actually wants to find some ground or gain some ground going to the next round.
And of course, looking at the standings, we know that there will be matchups, placements that they want to avoid and want to be in also. So, you know, Capital1, despite having just one win, they want to improve that record still after this game against the Farm Fresh Foxies. So let's discuss first the Solar Spikers, who last won. Their only win so far came back in November 30, and they're looking to end that losing skid, Noreen. And one of the players that were bright spots for them was Heather Ginoo in their last game.
Yeah, well, we have to mention she went through a rough patch. I have to say, because she started out the conference, 4 games in double digits, and then struggled with playing time, struggled with output. But in that last game, she had 8 points against Petrogas. So for her fans, for the coach, and for the, all the fans, they're hoping she just press reset or press reboot. And hopefully from today on, it's a better conference.
And the thing is, Heather only scored 12 points in the last 5 games for the Solar Spikers. So you know that she was really struggling at one point before breaking out once again in the last game. So we're hoping that we see more of that from her in this match. And their setter, Iris Tolenada, I wanted to ask you, do you think it was an adjustment for her coming from the reinforced conference wherein she had Marina Tushova, of course, that reliable score, and this conference, All-Filipino, nag-a-adjust pa siya?
Yeah, I mean, for me, I think it's back to reality, no? They really have to rely on themselves. But how do I say this? I think Iris Tolenada is the solar power or the solar energy of the Solar Spikers, because the effort she puts in to retrieve the balls, to set it, it's really admirable for me. And for her teammates, they have to realize that, you know, if she sets it, they have to try to take advantage of the opportunities given to them, because we're expecting always game in, game out. That's 100% from Iris Tolenada.
Yeah, and she's a proven leader. We know that she's the veteran in this team that is ready to lead the youngsters of the Solar Spikers, and one of which are the players of Solar Spikers that you got to talk to a while ago, Jana, was Shola Alvarez, and you heard her thoughts coming into this match.
Exactly, Dip. Well, I spoke to Leila and Roma last week, and they told me the word siguro to describe their remaining games is hopeful. And this one, when I talked to Shola Alvarez, she told me still fighting would be the best way to describe it. You know, the thing I like about Capital1 is that they still acknowledge they have bright spots going on, at least here in their experience, in their journey here in the All-Filipino Conference. But they still acknowledge that they're at the bottom of the standings. There's still lots to work with. But in my conversation with Shola, with that still fighting mantra that they have, she acknowledges that there's still games to play here anyway. They still have this game, and they still have the qualifying rounds. If they don't make it, they still have the play-ins. So you know what? Like, the growth part of this still continues for her, at least here in Capital1.
Yeah, and this is only their 3rd conference as a team, right, in the PVL. So, you know, there will be birthing pains along the way, just as Noreen mentioned, back to reality, and the reality is to move forward and to figure out the adjustments that they will make.
Yeah, I agree. And they have to rely on themselves. Not always will you get the chance to play with a foreign guest player.
Right, so lipat tayo sa kabila naman for the Farm Fresh Foxies, who are missing a couple of players in their lineup. So a person that stepped up in their last game was the lefty opposite as well, Caitlin Viray, who embraced that role of usually coming off the bench, but last game against Green Line, she had to start to replace Trisha Tu, and she played so well.
Yeah, for me, Viray, even during her collegiate days, is a constant. Whether like here in the PVL, if you, like you said, if she starts or if she comes off the bench, she puts in the points. So what do we expect from Kate Viray? For me, quality minutes. But we were expecting her actually to start the day. But let's say she comes off the bench. It's really, quality output, quality minutes, and she wants to lead her team to victory today.
And depending on the status as well of the players from the Foxies na marinig natin later on from Jana. And lipat tayo sa isa pang player that played great in that last game. Hindi lang sa opensa, she was also doing it in the defensive side. Bert Bertolano was outstanding in that department.
Well, I really gotta say, what a conference it has been for Bert Bertolano. She has evolved. She's not just a serve specialist. She can score, but she's not just a scorer. She can defend, so it's a total package. So I feel she's a big factor why they have 4 wins so far in this conference.
Now, this is a team that's slowly getting their players back on the floor. We have Lorin Toring, who's already healthy. Jolina De La Cruz has also made her debut at the start of this year. But people are asking how Trisha Tubo is, Jana. I believe you were able to talk to her as well.
I was, and really bad news for the fans of the Farm Fresh Foxies. Trisha Tubu nursing an intense muscle spasm on her lower back, and she told me she's been feeling the pain since last year, but because she wants to play gigilyon she really continued playing at least for January and like some matches for February. And of course, the last time we saw her with her normal self, with the Trisha Tubu that we know, was a 33-point career high performance against PLDT. And she told me, binuhos ko talaga lahat. And literally, because right after that, the games after, including her last game, Creamline 2-point performance, she was already feeling the pain. Doctors were telling her no, but it was her choice to continue. So today, Trisha Tubu is sitting it out, as you can see on her screens, and she tells me, first time ko ever na makaupo lang sa laro. And I told her, Tobes, I'm not used to seeing you like this. You're always contributing. And she tells me, I agree. What do you guys think?
I mean, last game I covered between the Farm Fresh Fox and Creamline, we heard news that she wasn't gonna play, and we were surprised that she was suited up and still went in the court. So I think yung palaban talaga ng attitude ni Trisha Tubu, you can't stop it. She wants to be on the court, but I think now hindi talaga pwede.
But I have to say, lesson learned. If you are nursing an injury, try to heal it first.
Right.
Make it heal, and that's so you can play 100%.
Yeah, and I heard from her that we are probably going to be missing around a month. That's bad news for the Farm Fresh Foxies fans, but maybe some good news naman for everyone watching on the Pilipinas Live app, because we have a poll question running right now, your streams. We are asking which team's players are going to step up today. They're going to be needing lots of that. Will it be the players from Capital1 Solar Spikers or the players from the Farm Fresh Foxies? We'll let you guys decide.
Right, we can't wait for you to answer that question over on the Pilipinas Live app. When we return, it's the Capital1 Solar Spikers versus the Farm Fresh Foxies here on Signal TV.
My name is Layla Cruz and this is my first serve. Oh my gosh! Grabe, super nene ko, guys. I think this was nung nasa Robel pa ako. Late na ako nag-start mag-volleyball kasi mas nung ni Chan, yung volleyball training, isa yan sa naging outlet ko para makabond with my friends and teammates. Na-in-love lang talaga ako nung pag-step ko sa Lasal. As in, doon ko talaga na-define na parang passionate ako about the sport. Memorable advice na nakuha ko sa volleyball is kailangan ko maging matapang kung anumang certain situations na ibigay sa akin na faith. Never ko na-imagine na makakapag-play ako, especially kasama yung mga idols ko. As in, even now, nasa-shock pa rin ako na ka-teammate ko sila, kalaro ko sila, gano'n. Kasi nga, di ko akalain na magiging ganito ka-serious yung career. My message to little Layla, na not so little here, work hard lang and super ma-proud ako sa narating mo now. Continue lang yung ginagawa mo and unti-unti ma-achieve natin yung dream din natin one step at a time.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Phil Sports Arena, Pasig City, Philippines. This is match number 62 in the PVL All-Filipino Conference 2025 between the Capital1 Solar Spikers and the Farm Fresh Foxies. And now let's meet our officials for this match. Our first referee, Joy De Imus, Asian International Referee. Our second referee, Mark Santos, National Referee. And now the starters. First for the Capital1 Solar Spikers. Middle blocker from Jose Rizal University, number 2, Sid Niegos. Outside spiker also from JRU, number 4, Shola Alvarez. Middle blocker from De La Salle University, number 5, Des Clemente de Guzman. Outside spiker from Adamson University, number 6, Trisha Genesis. Center from San Francisco State University, number 10, Iris Tolenada. Opposite hitter from De La Salle University, number 22, Layla Cruz. Starting libero from the Ateneo de Manila University, number 19, Roma May Doromal. And the head coach for Capital1 is Roger Gurayeb. And now the starters for the Farm Fresh Foxies. Center from Adamson University, number 7, team captain Louis Romero. Outside spiker from the Far Eastern University, number 3, Rachel Ann Duckis. Opposite hitter from the University of Santo Tomas, number 4, Kate Viray. Outside spiker from the University of the Philippines, number 5, Eliza Bertolano. Middle blocker from Adamson University, number 16, Riza Cruz. Middle blocker also from Adamson, number 18, Honey Toring. Starting libero from the University of Perpetual Health System Delta, number 14, Jack Dionella. Head coach for Farm Fresh is Benson Bokbok. This game is held under the supervision and regulation of the Games and Amusement Board.
Let's check out the starters for the Capital1 Solar Spikers. You have Niegos, Clemente de Guzman, Cruz, Tolenada, Alvarez, Genesis, and Normal as their libero. Meanwhile, for the Foxies, Turing, Cruz, Viray, Romero, Bertolano. Takis will make her start here, and Jack Janela will be their libero. As you're all set for this matchup. Our second one of this Tuesday doubleheader, our final Tuesday of eliminations before we head on to the matchups when the standings are final at the end of elims, and then we go on to the play-in tournament, which we can discuss throughout the game, Noreen, so that our viewers will be familiar with how the format will go. But we talked about it at the top of the coverage, wherein Capital1 have only won a single game so far, and they want to end this week with a win.
But you love the reports, right? I mean, Jana was saying that they're still positive because there's still more games to be played and they still have a chance. So they have to stay there in that positive zone.
And it's a way to start for the Solar Spikers with the first point of this game. Viray continues to be the starting opposite for Farm Fresh. Turing will get the first point for the Foxies.
You really have to credit Turing for that because Romero was going to tip it over. It was blocked, but Turing was able to keep that ball in play and get the point at the same time.
Romero, that's a set to Viray, who had to use her offhand. Doromal will go to Alvarez. And Shola will score. At yun yung sinasabi nga ni Jana na continuing to fight yung palaban mindset ni Shola despite the record.
Yeah, but you can see, no, Capital1, Coach Roger really trying to still, this is what, their 11th and final match of this round. Still finding a right six, you know, he keeps changing his starting unit.
And hoping that come when it matters most, he will find the right mix. Bertolano sends it wide, and that's going to be a 2-point lead for Capital1.
Yep, strong start, which is what they want, right? And now they have, with Tolenada at the back serving, obviously a full front row. So yeah, this is where they want to create some separation.
Romero will bump it to Viray. That catches the line for Kate Viray.
Quality minutes, we always say. You know, it doesn't have to be the strongest of hits, but clip the line. Well, you know, personally, I'm pretty excited to see Dakis play and start a match because it's through the years we know.
Right, as we get the support first from Jana Ejido. Jana?
In my conversation with team captain Luis Romero earlier, she shared how the Farm Fresh Foxies find themselves in quite some tough times, of course. Besides that losing streak that they're having here in the conference so far, they're also in what she describes a mini adjustment period, filling that Tubu spot for the time being. She shares how some of the players are even being converted into opposite spikers today. I was told that this is La Rosa and Abeliana specifically. So expect them to step up later because it has been quite the adjustment in training, and for her, that should be no sweat for today. Interestingly enough, our Pilipinas Live question is about players stepping up. So cast your vote while we continue with set number 1, Depinarin.
Thank you, Jana, for that report. So even the mix of positions have been done by Coach Benson Bokbok here for the Foxies, knowing that, you know, there are missing pieces and he has to sort of experiment, I guess, with La Rosa, as mentioned, and Pierre Abeliana trying the opposite.
Well, at this level of play, Dip, for me, really, it's what the team needs, and the coach knows, obviously, so he will make the changes.
Yeah.
You need to sacrifice. That's not your primary position, but you have to embrace it. That's what it is.
And one of the changes that he made is putting Dakis in as a starter. It's, as you mentioned, exciting to see her start again, as Niegos unable to send that cleanly. Coach Roger Gorayev on his third conference as the head coach of Capital1.
Well, I like the fact that Coach Benson actually is starting Rachel Andakis because you want her to get comfortable.
Yeah.
You know, you want her to get reacquainted. Although we know it's part of her blood, right? It's in her blood.
It's her 4th game back in the PVL and as a Foxy, and her first time to start. Meanwhile, Leila Cruz gets another point. She has 2 to lead the Solar Spikers here in set 1.
Leila Cruz is one player also who had, the struggles along the way. She would start, she'd come off the bench. That's what we're saying. It's a constant evolution for me. You need really to embrace change.
That's a service ace coming from Niegos, which will send us to our first technical timeout. Capital 1 up by 5.
Na-miss niyo ba yung game namin? Kung na-miss niyo, subscribe na to our YouTube channel. Subscribe na!
Arena Plus, astig sa sports. As we are back inside the Phil Sports Arena for your PVL Tuesday. Our second game of this doubleheader. A while ago, the Signal HD Spikers winning in straight sets as we see Gabe Norwood in the house, who has been a constant supporter of his cousin, Alohi Robbins Hardy, who was part of the Farm Fresh coaching staff.
But we've seen a lot of that throughout, right? Different sports come to support.
Crossing over, diba?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Des Clemente de Guzman will get that point to build a 6-point lead that prompts Coach Benson to make his first change of the game in Pierre Abellana.
Well, what is struggling here for Farm Fresh obviously is their first pass. They can't seem to get, well, that was a lucky break with a service error by Niegos, but their passing is in question right now.
Serving for the Foxies, Kate Viray.
A bit shaky to start this game. Kate Viray coming off an 11-point output in their previous game. Cruz will try to place it.
Good save.
Pancake save by Jack Janela. Back with the blue shirts. The running spike coming from Des.
Oh.
And she gets it to drop.
Well, it's such a slow start for Farm Fresh.
This spike of the set is brought to you by Duncan, pasalubong ng bayan.
Yeah, obviously it's a flat start for Farm Fresh. And you can see the confidence level of Capital 1 rising. Right? And, they're doing their slides and they're just playing light and loose.
Well, they're up by 6 right now. Cruz picked up by the other Cruz. Genesis. Romero goes to Riza, and that is good enough. She tried to go long, and Alvarez couldn't calculate it.
Great, strong push there. You can see the defensive formation of Capital 1. They mostly were too near the attack line, so it was just Alvarez trying to man the back.
Well, good serve coming from Abellana. They're able to pick it up. They go back to Genesis. Covered by Alvarez, the 1-2. Janela read that one. Bertolano flies. Shola able to touch, and Doromal able to chase.
Good save.
Sky free ball leads to that Bertolano attack.
Well, back-to-back points now for Farm Fresh. You can see that they raised the level of the energy. It was kind of slow, kind of flat at the start.
That ball into the stands. Bertolano also, as we talked about her at the top of the coverage. 8 points, 14 excellent receptions. And that's going to be out for Genesis. And the lead down to just 3.
Yeah, she lacked that flick of that wrist there. Ooh, the early substitution. Sing in for Trisha Genesis.
So both coaches making their early subs. That one has worked well for Capital One.
Well, when we talk about the problems in passing for Farm Fresh, what about the passing of Capital One? It's been working well. So look at that. They're able to create all these sorts of plays.
She leads all Solar Spikers with 3 points. That is slowed down, pero sumobra para kay Singh. The 1-2 by Romero. Doromal sends it over. Delerio for the first ball. They go quick. And Cruz will connect.
Well, that connection is very evident because the passing has improved a lot for Farm Fresh.
Able to activate Teresa Cruz at the middle.
And she's been delivering.
Yeah.
How many sets or chances has she gotten?
2 out of 2
Yeah.
so far.
Good serve.
Clemente will be the one to bump it to Alvarez. Bertolano straight to Doromal.
Look at that chase by Tolenada.
Another high free ball given up. Toring doesn't get it. 1-2. Kept
Oh, good
alive
save.
by the Foxies on a scramble play. But Capital One will challenge. Coach Roger Gorayev signaling for that review.
Floor touch.
There were 2 Foxies who dove for the ball on the first touch. So that might have
Blocked the view.
Yeah.
No, but you love the hustle right now by both these teams in terms of defense.
Well, let's take a look at this floor touch challenge by the Solar Spikers. Yun, it was right in between.
Good challenge by Coach Roger. And to think there were 2 hands.
Yeah.
But yeah, it hit the floor right at the center of both these players. Better pass.
Bertolano on the drop. Saved by the Solar Spikers. But Alvarez unable to keep that in.
Well, they have to be careful. Capital One, they're lapsing into errors. As you know, you see Farm Fresh playing a lot better here in the first set. You're seeing Capital One committing these errors. They gotta check that.
So lead erased after that block coming from Farm Fresh. And that was Toring. This block of the center is brought to you by East West Bank, the official bank of the PVL All-Filipino Conference.
Well, another substitution for Coach Roger, tapping Heather Ginoo for Shola Alvarez.
Because that 6-point lead erased.
Yep.
It's down to just 2 for Capital One. Ginoo. And that will work.
And your coaches will always say, trust the coverage. You know, if you try to keep getting it with one hand, you're gonna disrupt, you know, the momentum or the movement from the coverage.
And it showed in that previous play.
What a serve.
Serve from Iris. Chance here for Capital One to set up their play. They go combination to Cruz. Romero running after the ball. Second try, same play. Same result, but there was a net violation.
Bertolano was definite that she did not clip the net.
And the net fault challenge will be raised by Farm Fresh. That was a low heat, as we mentioned earlier. Part of the coaching staff. A majority of the coaching staff also Farm Fresh are part of the UP women's volleyball team. Coach Benson making his debut as well in the UAAP last weekend.
I heard it was a long game.
It was indeed. It was a long game.
Care of you.
Me and Paning, it wasn't just me. So it might have been her too.
Might have.
And then, of course, this time for the Farm Fresh Foxies, trying to improve their record. They're at the middle of the pack right now, but are a game above, or a game below rather, Cheritigo and Akari, who lost earlier. So it'll depend on the points, on who they will face in the crossover. Yung nabanggit natin na format, as we take a look at what happened here, it looked like it was the ball that, or was it her knuckles?
Wasn't too clear there. So I guess adrenaline really, she didn't feel the net.
Challenge is successful.
Challenge is successful. So it's supposed to be a no for the net fault.
Yeah.
Okay, just
Well, I think that's what our first referee, Joy De Imus, clarified, that
but it looked clean. That's why when it said yes, I said it wasn't clear because it looked clean.
sabi nga natin, yung bola, yung parang reason as to why it moved.
Right.
It's just that the result said yes, and I think Joy De Imus, the first referee, is overturning that.
Right. Okay, so just to clarify, Eliza Bertolano did not touch the net.
Did not.
Okay, so now
Hey, we believe her.
so successful challenge by Coach Benson.
And Niegos will get that point back quickly.
And you know the thought bubble right now of Coach Roger is justice.
Yeah.
Well, for Capital One, they're hoping that they built enough of a lead, you know, to stymie this run by Farm Fresh.
And that's Heather Ginoos, one of her better departments at the service line, which puts Capital One up by 4. Timeout, Farm Fresh.
Timeout called by Farm Fresh.
Ikaw muna, siya muna, lahat.
Mabigat sadya mabigat yung service nila. Ano na lang, taas lang muna. Kahit tutulungan tayo, sige lang. Saluhin niya lang pag-out of system. Mabigat talaga, taas lang. Let's go! Tilang! Let's go! Harvest! Okay, tama na.
Timeout called by the Foxies. And we heard that they mentioned yung service ng Capital One yung nagpapahirap.
Yeah, that's why they have to go back to basics, you know, stay low and try to receive better.
Yeah, and same thing happened there, over reception, which leads to the free chance given to the Solar Spikers. And that will bring us to the second technical timeout.
Bitin ba kayo sa games? Watch all the replays on PVL YouTube channel.
SB Finance, ang BFF na malalapitan. And our crowd inside the Phil Sports Arena. Mag-BFF kaya talaga sila?
Ano yan? Scripted.
Kasi tayo dito pag nagko-comment, mag-BFF tayo, di ba?
Yeah. Sabi mo.
Walang magawa. Walang magawa. Sunod. Action resumes here. Farm Fresh trying to stop this run. And they do so after that technical timeout. Turing.
Yeah, but you can see a strength, you know, early on, or at least in the mid part of the first set, the service of Capital One has been doing wonders for them. You know, giving all sorts of reception problems to Farm Fresh.
Sabi nga nila kanina sa timeout, mabibigat yung service na binibigay ng Capital One. Yegos has been on point, whether at the service line or attacks. She's got 4 points in total.
You know, when she was introduced to the fans, you know, here in the PVL, because she hailed from JRU, no? She had moments already, so it's good for her and her confidence that she's getting more touches this conference.
Off the block for Kate Viray.
So that time around, Caitlin Viray gets the point for Farm Fresh.
You can see out of system, bump set there. And again, quality minutes. Good points from Kate Viray.
Tolenada back sets. 2 players went after that ball in Clemente de Guzman and Cruz, but lucky break as Bertolano came up short.
Oh, you can see the roller coaster ride of Farm Fresh here in the first set. They have their ups and downs, but they can't seem to sustain a run. But, you know, you have to say kudos to Capital One.
Leila Cruz serving.
Better pass.
Tolenada pumps it to Singh. Down the line.
Boy, Viray was there, but it was too hot to handle.
Kaya siya pinasok ni Coach Roger. Look at that.
Hit her leg, right?
Yeah.
Number 7, Romero out. Number 10, Mike Rosa in.
Changes here for the Foxies. Gonzalez will be the setter. Abellana will be the opposite, and La Rosa will play her usual position.
Well, they're hoping, obviously, Gonzalez will, you know, inject her veteran decision-making.
Oh, but Cruz unable to get that through.
Yeah, you know, if you're Capital One, you just want to end this. It's a good set. It's a good start. You don't want to be giving hope to your opponents. If Farm Fresh will grab it.
That was sent back. Bertolano blocking it.
Okay, we have something to add for Bertolano. It's not just serving, it's not scoring, it's not receiving, it's blocking. So seriously, total package. Oh, what a serve.
Oh, Singh targeting the same spot. And another point for Jarrell Singh.
Well, that's going to be good for her confidence. You know that throughout the conference, she goes in, goes out, you know, has good hits, has errors, and you're hoping this good start will do her good because Capital One needs her leadership as well.
Oh, Bertolano doing the same thing.
Boy, not the tallest of players, we have to say, but look at the way she elevates.
Back to a 4-point game. Ginoo. Oh, exchanging of points here at this part of the set.
You know, you feel for these players, especially if they come off the bench. You know that they want to prove themselves. So they want to make the most of their court time, and they want more playing time. So players like Ginoo just wasting no time.
Oh, La Rosa had to adjust. That was a tough spot for her. Ginoo again. Telerio with a pickup. Bertolano goes up. And down it goes for Bertolano.
Changing things up. This time going through the blockers.
Take a look at that last point for Bertolano. Louis Romero will check back in alongside Caitlin Viray.
Yeah, short stint, but they're hoping that the impact that substitution created will stay.
Oh, but Niegos able to stop that mini run.
Boy, you just love the decision-making of Iris Tolonada. You know, I mean, she's getting everyone their touches. They're giving them the chances. And so far, so good for Capital One.
Romero. Free ball given up by Delerio. Here comes the play. Leila Cruz with a tip. And that's good enough for a point.
Well, everything working again when they're playing light and loose. Capital One. Look at that, finding a huge hole.
And that forces Coach Benson to call his final timeout in this set.
Yung madali nyo rin, pinamadali nyo. Mabagalin, paakatin. Hindi lang.
Sa taas lang, sa gitna lang.
Kahit bigyan na lang yung yun, sir. Laro tayo!
Let's go!
Timeout called by the Foxies, who trail by 6 points. And that is a big lead at this part of the set.
Yeah. Well, we said it earlier, we have to give it to Capital One. They're able to keep Farm Fresh in arm's length.
Yes.
Yeah, you know, that just stay there.
And as you mentioned, it was a big of a lead that Farm Fresh was trying to cut down earlier. Medyo nakaipon sila ng lamang dito. However, there was a violation.
Yeah, net infraction called on Cruz. Well, if you're Farm Fresh, you want to make your run right now.
Oh, that's out for Bertolano, which puts Capital One at set point.
Well, she opted for a floater serve, but too much juice. Could serve another one.
Oh, Viray tried to go for the cut. Singh for the finisher. And they get set number one, courtesy of Jarrell Singh.
Well, why not set it to Jarrell Singh? She has been on point since she came off the bench.
One more time for her. And delivering the goods for the Solar Spikers, who get the first set over the Foxies. back inside the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig for your PVL All-Filipino Conference, the Capital1 Solar Spikers. Well, we knew that they were going to put up a fight in their final game of the eliminations, and that is why they got set number 1 in convincing fashion.
Well, you know, in set number 1, what was clear is you can see how focused Capital One is. Everyone, Tolenada, again, ball distribution on point. But everyone was ready. That's what we said in the pregame. They have to be ready. When Tolenada just sets it, they have to make sure, you know, they take advantage of these sets. And that's what they did. Plus, they served really well.
Right.
And if we look at the numbers there, look at the attacking department. I mean, 18 to 8, that's a 10-point difference. Blocking Farm Fresh, but you don't really feel it because it is overshadowed by the 10 attack point difference. And then the errors by 2 aces. Capital, we talked about their service. Although it's just 2-0 in terms of aces, all the problems they have just bringing it to Louis Romero, right? It made all the difference in set number 1. So set number 2, you want to change, for me, Farm Fresh, you have to change your mindset. Okay, he had a slow start, but you don't just stay there.
Yeah.
You want also to win this game and to crawl up in that middle pack of the standings.
Right. Well, let's see how they will do here in set number 2 as we welcome you all back to our coverage on One Sports, on One Sports Plus, and on Pilipinas Live. Dip Dipianco together with Noreen Go and Jana Ejido, your broadcast team for this match. Caitlin Viray will get the first point for Farm Fresh here at set 2.
Well, if you're a Farm Fresh fan, you have to be happy with that celebration. That's just the first point, but you want to see them work together as a team. You know, you celebrate the points.
That ball kept alive. Iris with a 1-2, and that dropped.
I think Delario is saying, no, I got it. But Coach Benzo just shrugged. Nope. All smiles for Iris Tolenada there.
Dakis gets the first ball. Pierre. And that will drop inside for Abellana.
Well, they'll take it. You know, with the help of the net, it dribbled across, and Doromal, you know, that couldn't get her timing right.
Oh, but she gives the point back with that service error.
Oh, Trisha Tubo, you can see in the background, I'm sure, wanting so much to play, but I think it's a good decision to rest her.
Yeah.
You know, we talked about that as well in the pregame.
And it was reported already how she was nursing an injury prior to this game. The big block there coming from Dakis, which could fire up her teammates as well.
Yeah. And, you know, that's going to be huge for her confidence as well.
Now serving, April Tugsit.
When you talk about Rachel Andakis, what comes to mind is her happiness. Right? It feels funny to see her with another team.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it's...
We're so used to seeing her wearing red, right?
Yeah, and her voice during huddles, remember that. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is.
It was iconic.
Yeah.
But now it's time for a new era, a new team, and a new spark of joy for her after she has come back into the PVL.
Yeah, and she should be happy with that. I mean, that was a free gift. That was an overpass. But miscommunication from Des Clemente and Leila Cruz.
Good dive coming from Delario. Dakis. That's kept alive by the Solar Spikers. Cruz is a bit flat, but it found its way inside.
Yeah, the blockers, loose block there. They let it go, and Cruz just finding that line in zone 1.
No, there was actually a check, rather. That
in the slow-mo, yeah.
Yeah, umangat yung trajectory ng bola. Good serve coming from Cruz. They go to Dakis. Doromal able to pop it up. Singh will give up a free ball.
Boy, the free balls today are getting higher and higher.
Romero, Dakis had to use her offhand. Singh, that's short.
Well, that little bit of hesitation, changed the timing of Jarrell Singh.
Let's get this report first from Jana Ejido. Jana?
Just like that, Tipinarine, set 1 belongs to Capital 1. And I just have to share that in my trip to the dugout earlier, I got some good vibes from them that I wonder where it could come from. Then I remembered it was Leila Cruz's birthday yesterday. Of course, her wish being a win for the Solar Spikers, which would be a much-needed boost for the team here in the league. And you know what? Recently, Leila told me all about the value of patience from her growth in the team to her minor knee pain, which kept her scoreless a few games back. Well, she won't be scoreless here today. We've seen such a good showing from her back in set 1, and maybe the birthday buenas could continue for Leila Cruz today, Tipinarine.
Thank you, Jana, for that report. Well, that's why nagpapatugtog sila ng happy birthday kanina dahil kahapon ay birthday ni Leila Cruz. And we're happy to see her on the court the day after her birthday and really being back on the floor after her injury back in college.
Yeah, yeah. And then she starts, I think that's a birthday gift by Coach Benson.
Yeah.
You start the game.
By Coach Roger.
Oh, yeah, sorry. By Coach Roger.
Pero kanina si Coach Benson as Dakis able to score that one. Yung gift naman ni Coach Benson ay para kay Lorin Toring, who's also gonna be celebrating her birthday on Saturday. So kaya rin siya stinart siguro.
Ganun pala, kailangan birthday natin.
No, I think she's really a starter. Anyways, regardless whether it's her birthday or not, Ginoo will get someone to touch the net from her attack. Looks like it was a Taksip. But Farm Fresh will challenge for a net fault.
I love it. Like when they call the net violation, Louis Romero is looking at Tagsip saying, "Did you touch the net?" I didn't touch the net.
Hanap agad nung no? Nung suspect.
Well, since 2 people said, Coach Benson nag-challenge.
Tignan natin if this will be successful. Earlier, they also had the same. They had a successful challenge, and yeah. Net fault for Tagsip.
The challenge by Farm Fresh is unsuccessful. Point saves with Capital 1.
Sometimes if you're the coach and you're like toying with the idea, should I challenge, and your player tells you, challenge it. I'm sure I didn't touch the net.
It was fun.
That's really frustrating, though.
They will look to get that point back, but winning that one.
Well, Farm Fresh has to be careful they don't lapse into these errors once again.
Oh, but Farm Fresh, right after losing a challenge, will use another one. It will be a reaching beyond the net challenge.
I haven't seen one. Have you? In the games that you covered?
Yes, they've been using it a lot.
No,
actually.
I mean, actually a successful.
Successful, parang di pa rin.
Wala, right?
It's very different, I guess, the way they see it from their side also, yung angle. I think I've seen one when I was watching, but sa coverage wala pa. It's been unsuccessful. So let's see this one. Baka sakali.
So yeah, I mean, we said we'll talk a bit about the format. So this is the last day of the seeding.
Last week.
Last week, yeah. So
Saturday yung last game day of eliminations.
So that after that, you will determine who's won and 1 to 12.
Yeah.
Let's see.
It looks far.
Yeah. Farm Fresh is no more challenging.
Yeah.
Okay, so back to the format. So after Saturday, which is the last game day of this seeding, the seeding round, we will determine who's 1, 2, all the way to 12. And then 1 will play 12, and then 2, 11, and so on and so forth.
Yeah. And then the winners of those 6 matches, as we see what will happen here in this rally. First, Tolenada goes to Cruz. And Singh with some effort keeps the ball alive. It's still playable. Abellana off the block, get a point. Well, that was a good rally.
That's a great challenge. I mean, Abellana against a taller blocker in Niegos.
Louis Romero now serving for Farm Fresh.
I think we can continue after the first technical timeout.
Okay.
Since isang point na lang din.
We will leave you at
the 112,
yes.
2 versus
Okay.
11.
Okay.
May onting bitin. Para hindi rin masyadong info overload.
True.
Chance here for the Foxies. Romero goes to Tagsip. That was touched by the blockers. Singh getting another touch on that. Free ball given up by Tolenada. It will cross over to the other side. Viray. Back with Capital One. They go back row to Singh.
Oh!
And that was rejected by April Tagsip.
And give Farm Fresh a 1 point
And it will be the
lead in our first
Foxies who
technical
will bring
timeout.
us to the first technical timeout.
Player highlights, we got you covered. Subscribe now to the PVL YouTube channel. Subscribe!
In the house for PVL basketball players. Simon Enciso also in the building. And as you mentioned, a lot of athletes from different sports crossing over. At ito po natin ituloy yung format. So, end of elims, 112, 211, 310, so on and so forth. And then the winners of those matches, yung 6,
The 6.
will go to the quarterfinals.
Okay.
The other 6 will go to a play-in tournament as Farm Fresh
Rotation violation.
will have a rotation violation. Yung 6 na pasok sa quarterfinals will have a week of break. The other 6 will go
8 all.
for a play-in tournament.
Okay, and then they will be, the 6 will be divided into 2 groups, single round robin. The top teams will be ranked 7 and 8,
Yeah.
right?
After that round robin,
After that round robin.
dun sa tatlong teams in the group.
Meaning they won the right to play in.
Oo. So yung 6 na yun, again, Group A, tatlo, Group B, tatlo, round robin. Top of those groups will get the 7th and 8th seed.
Will join the top 6.
Yeah. So yun na, yung actual quarterfinals. na-
So a lot of more games. We urge you to keep supporting and keep watching.
And the takeaway really is, even if you're at the bottom, you still have a chance.
Yeah. That's why there's that term, upset.
Yep. Meanwhile, the Foxies have gotten a 2-point lead here in set number 2.
Good serve.
Broken play. Chance here for the white shirts. Romero. Back sets to Viray. Oh, good hit coming from Kate Viray. And a quick timeout called by Coach Roger Gorayev as his team is down by 3.
Binigay mo ng easy ball. Hindi mo pinalo, pwede naman paluin. Kaliwete yun ha, kaliwete yung pumapalo doon, huwag niyong kakalimutan. Kaya bumlak ng diretso yung kamay ninyo. Tingnan nyo, lalo ikaw nasa gitna ka, sa'yo papuntang kadalasan ng ang palo nun.
Timeout called by the Solar Spikers. Coach Roger telling his players his observations. And ayaw niya sayangin yung pagkakataon. Even though it's a broken play, he wants his players na pumalo pa rin. Diba? Sayang yung pagkakataon.
Yeah. You know, again, we always say, given opportunities, you have to take advantage. But service error, so good timeout.
Yeah. 4 service errors now for Farm Fresh. Or rather 3 in this set. Viray. Tough play there. Cruz easy over. Delerio goes back to Viray. That is wide and out.
Are they gonna out there? But they're out of challenges, right?
Yeah. Oh, Julina de la Cruz. You haven't seen her in this game. Although last time around against Creamline, she played a couple of sets. And another point for the Solar Spikers. That was Leila Cruz, who now has 5 points. And more importantly, the game is tied at 11-all. MJ Phillips also in the venue.
Number 3, Duckies out. Number 5, Eliza Bertolano in.
The Petrogas Angels are at a good spot at number 2, actually tied with Creamline, with the Cool Smashers losing over the weekend.
Yeah, I read about it. It makes it, changes the story of the conference, really.
PLDT, huge win over that team. Another one of those 5-setters. Right now, Capital One, all of a sudden, they have the lead.
Well, again, we see the inconsistencies of Farm Fresh. They'll play well, then they'll lapse into error. So that kind of halts their own run.
Yeah.
In this match so far. And Capital One is just steady. Just solid, serving well.
Olarosa will be the opposite. Bertolano. Oh, good block coming from Niegos, but kept alive by Farm Fresh. Go back to Niegos. Delerio with a save. That's out for Bertolano. And again, they're out of challenges. And that is the price they would have to pay the rest of this set.
Well, we have to say, Farm Fresh had 3 blocks in set number 1, 0 for Capital One. But here in second set, they're actually stepping up in terms of net defense.
Yes.
No need a stuffed block, but at least you're getting stops.
Saved by Ginoo, free ball. Back with Farm Fresh. Romero points to the other side, goes the other way. Bertolano, saved by Doromal. Delerio does the same. Bertolano again was checked to the other side, and that is a point for Michael Arosa.
Well, that's a great set by Louis Romero. You need to spread out your sets because blocking has been working for Capital One.
Yeah. That's consecutive sequences now wherein they were able to send the ball back. It's just that Farm Fresh had coverage.
So you see the improvement in defense for both these teams here in the second set.
Tolenada back sets to Cruz. And she scores for Capital One. Now leading the way with 6 points.
That's a perfect set. Look at that. The blocker slow to close. Excellent set.
Oh, that one is an error for Niegos.
Now serving for the Foxies.
Farm Fresh will take that any day. You give us service error. Well, let's see if La Rosa can actually, create an impact here in the second set.
Cruz again. But this time, it's long. It looks like Capital One will challenge. They do have that luxury.
We have a challenge from Capital One for block touch.
Singh was pointing out na may block touch.
Well, no admission at the side of Farm Fresh.
At dahil challenge, explain ulit natin yung form. Paulit-ulit na.
And we'll leave you at 1 versus 12.
Pag di niya pa nakuha yan.
No, but it did take time for a lot of people to actually
Right.
understand.
And I see a lot of comments on social media asking about it, but it will be clearer once we get to that next point of the tournament. It's a successful challenge for Capital One. And they get to keep both still with this 1 point or 2 point lead rather.
Yeah.
Outside for Bertolano.
Well, you see the difference of good net defense. It changes the hits of the opponents.
We go to the second technical timeout. Capital One up by 3.
Na-miss niyo ba yung game namin? Kung na-miss niyo, subscribe na to our YouTube channel. Subscribe na!
Back inside the Phil Sports Arena, Fifi Sharma of the Akari Chargers saw action earlier. And some more of the Capital One Solar Spikers.
Game for Farm Fresh, number 3, Rachel
Miguel Ladicho, Yumi Furukawa,
Still serving for Capital One.
Jillian Torres rather, and of course Julia Ipak also here supporting their team. They must be happy with this lead, but Cruz will cut the lead down to 2.
Well, you have to remember in set number 1, we saw a lot of good connections between Romero and Cruz. So I think it's smart to actually try to go more to that here in set number 2 because they are down a set here. Talking about Farm Fresh.
Rachel and Takis.
Takis with that serve, misreceived, easy over. Oh, but not the best first ball. However, that led to a net violation from Capital One.
Yeah. Well, that was a good serve by Dakis that actually started that.
Des Clemente de Guzman eager to send that ball over. And that's why Iris goes to her on the running spike.
What they call a net violation.
This spike of the set is brought to you by Duncan, pasalubong ng bayan.
Well, similar to the first set, Capital One doing a good job in trying to protect their lead.
Oh, Doromal couldn't get it up.
Well, Abellana's been steady, today.
Now serving for the Foxies, Risa Cruz.
Back to a one-point game.
Anybody set.
Yeah. They go to Ginoo. And Abellana and Cruz just a couple of steps away from where the ball dropped.
No, you have to give it to Heather Ginoo because she took some pace off of that. It was just placement. Again, a point is a point. It doesn't have to be strong all the time. I mean, it's smart hitting.
We've had 6 deadlocks and 3 lead changes in this set. Farm Fresh looking to get closer. And they do so with Dakis from the back.
Well, now they're getting Rachel and Dakis more involved in play, whether she's at the back or front. So I think that's also smart of Louis Romero.
Yeah.
Good serve.
Oh, Doromal unable to control. Another chance here, but Romero had to dive for it. Abellana, though, doing what she could do with that set. And we are tied at 18 all.
Yeah. Well, this is a run by Farm Fresh. Yeah, Cruz was there, but it hit the blockers.
4 points off the bench for Pierre Abellana. Ginoo stops it. Stops the run and gets the lead back for Capital One.
We talked about her in the pregame and, what she has to do. She really has to put in the numbers today. And so far, again, off the bench, she is doing that.
Her going hot at the start of this conference, then going cold. This could be another start of her heating up. They go to Cruz. Delerio pops it up. La Rosa.
Oh, what a dig.
Oh, nice save coming from Tolenada. Romero goes to Micah. Kept alive by the blue shirts. Cruz gets it for Capital One.
Boy, great. Again, you see the spreading, Iris Tolenada spreading out the sets, really making the blockers of Farm Fresh work. But that's actually how much respect they have for Tagsip.
Yeah.
You need to do that. She's a great blocker.
8 points now for Leila Cruz. 5 of those from this set. La Rosa. Doromal got that one. Ginoo cross court.
Well, someone's got the hot hand right now.
7 points off the bench for Heather Ginoo. One more time. And this leads to a Farm Fresh timeout.
Organize lang, magsimula ha, sa receive. Isa. Sagay natin. Pag hindi nakuha sa block, kunin natin ha. Basta tayo dalawanin.
Isa lang.
Kaya dikit nababasa ko yung down. Puro ka lang onte. Sa cross. Cross naman siya. Dikit kayo. Let's go! Isa lang.
Let's go! Go, boy!
Huddle there by the Foxies, who are trailing by 3 points.
You can sense the desperation in their voices, but still trying to push each other.
Yeah.
It's the way to go.
Well, they had their fair share of a lead earlier. They were up by 3. Capital One also, this is their biggest lead of the set at 3 points.
Oh.
Now at 4 after the attack error from La Rosa. And they continue to shuffle as Viray will replace Michael La Rosa.
And of course, they're hoping for the quality minutes that we keep stressing.
Poor first ball. Chance here. Who do they go to? Iris goes to Cruz, their leading scorer. And rightfully so, as Capital One now 2 points away from taking a 2-set advantage.
Yeah, I mean, you know, Cruz just always ready. Look at that. Not the most solid of hits, but again, point is a point.
Because she's also so long that she can reach
Tall,
the ball at,
yeah.
the peak of it. Toromal bumps it to Cruz with the extension.
Chance.
Louis tosses. Abellana has had that mark.
Well, they need more of that from Abellana. Look at that. Look at her skying for that.
th overall pick back in the 2024 inaugural draft. Has earned her minutes for Coach Benson here. Tagsip, kept alive. Viray wants to go for it.
Back-to-back points for Farm Fresh. They're right in this, and you don't want to be trailing 2 sets in this match.
Saw the opening and took care of it.
See? Quality minutes.
Yeah. Down by just 3. Tolenada goes to Niegos.
Oh, wow.
Been a while,
I know.
but still got it.
Again, you know, Niegos is a good example of given the opportunity, you grab it. You
Yeah.
know, try to give a good showing.
Set point for Capital One. Not the best first ball. Viray will make do though. The dive by Doromal. Here comes the play. Abellana was there for the pickup. Takis with her usual approach.
I like how you said that. Her usual approach. That is signature Rachel Landakis, and that's a huge point for her.
And they're still in this set. 1 set point saved. And 3 to go for the Foxies. And Tagsip has to be flawless at the service line.
Yeah.
That is true. Tolenada goes to Singh, the captain.
Good dig.
Popped up by Abellana. Viray. A little step back. Iris goes back to Jurel. Pinadaan sa blocker. And I think it did touch. And confirmed by our referees for the final point of Capital One in set number 2.
Yeah, that was just a smart. You saw, that was her intention.
This block of the set is brought to you by East West Bank, the official bank of the PVL All-Filipino Conference. That was Dakis earlier in the set. But at the end of it, it's the Solar Spikers getting the job done. 25-21. We'll be back with the 3rd set right after this. We are back inside the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig for your 2025 PVL All-Filipino Conference. Capital1 are up 2-0 over the Farm Fresh Foxies. And they are the lower seeded team at the standings right now, but they are playing bigger than that tonight so far.
Yeah, I totally agree. Obviously, they're really out to, this is their last match. Both these teams, is their last match of this round. And of course, you want to get, some high from a victory here at Capital1. You said actually at the bottom of the standings wanting to do that. And you can see that they're, again, from set one, we can see how focused they are. Again, ball distribution is great, but the rest of the team for Capital1, they are just playing so well. In terms of attacks, you can see now better attacking for Farm Fresh. Remember the first set, they only had 8 attacks. Blocking still the strength of Farm Fresh. Capital1 with just 1. But the errors really more than actually double the errors of Capital1. So Farm Fresh, actually, they had more attacks, but they had more errors as well, So when you look at the numbers, Dip, it's really, how did Capital1 win that second set? Simplicity. You attack better. You attack, just right, 14 at par with your opponent, but you committed less errors.
Yeah.
Pretty simple volleyball for Capital1. That's why they're ahead 2-0.
Right, and they are making the most out of those chances. And we've seen players come off the bench for Capital1. They have performed pretty well. And their starters too, talking about Leila Cruz, who has 9 points. And on the other side, Caitlin Viray has 6. So the battle of the opposites in this match. But so far, it's the birthday girl who is leading the way.
But not without help, Ginoo came off the bench, Singh came off the bench. And, again, we said it's a pretty balanced scoring for Capital1. Even Niegos, is playing well. So you like this 6 now that was actually chosen by Coach Roger to play here in this match.
So set 3 underway here on One Sports, on One Sports Plus, and on Pilipinas Live. And we thank you all for joining us tonight. Dip Dipianco with Noreen Go, continuing to cover this match with Jana Ejido at the sidelines.
Well, if you're Farm Fresh, you want to dig deep here. You want to win this first and foremost, this third set to force a 4th and hopefully a 5th.
Yeah. So first things first is to extend and win this set to keep themselves alive in this game. This block of the set is brought to you by East West Bank, the official bank of the PVL All-Filipino Conference.
Well, a 1-on-1 and stat 1 for Kate Viray.
Ginoo, another block there. Check at least. Ginoo this time changing it up.
Okay, you checked my power. Let's see if you can check this. Just a placement shot. Really smart of Heather Ginoo. But you love the effort of the blocking of Farm Fresh, though.
Yeah. Romero. Oh, they go to Dakis. Popped up by Doromal, but that was a free point for Rachel Ann Dakis.
Well, she created that opportunity with her first strong hit. Yeah, if you're Farm Fresh, you want to start out strong here in the third set.
Back set to Heather. Kept up. They transfer to Cruz.
Good save.
So they've switched positions here. They go to Niegos this time. Cruz.
Oh, what a dig.
Straight to Tolenada. Ginoo again. Oh, good net defense shown by Farm Fresh here.
And floor defense as well.
Viray.
Oh.
That's out though. Let's get this report first from Jana Ejido. Jana?
Well, I had a chat with Hanita Ring earlier, and all she told me was she is wanting a win. And why I mentioned her specifically, it's because it was also her birthday. Just like Layla Cruz. Well, we have some birthday twins here today in this match. And even kanina, I had a picture of the standings. And Louie and Honey pointed to me where Farm Fresh were at the standings. And they said, there, at least 8 is what we're aiming for today. So let's see here in set number 3 how that's going to go for them, especially when they're 2 sets down to the Capital1 Solar Spikers.
Thank you, Jana, for that report. Well, Honey Toring is hoping that her team will also give her a birthday present of a win. Right now, they are at the 8th spot, and they're hoping, or rather 9th in the standings, and they want to win so that maangat nila yung sarili nila sa standings.
Actually, it's really tight. Aside from the top 2 teams in Creamline and Petrogas, it's a tight race in the middle.
Yeah.
So you expect them to actually battle each other out in the middle of the pack.
That's Farm Fresh, Zeus, Cheritigo, Akari, all in the mix. And then the top 5, they will try to place themselves too.
Yeah.
Facing depending on their final game. Although Signal has already played their final game earlier.
Now, Layla Cruz, you did mention she has been the solid one for Capital One.
10 points for Layla Cruz. Ginoo has 9. Tied game as Cruz will get the lead back for Farm Fresh.
It's a battle of the cruises.
5-4 for the Foxies.
5 serving 4 here in set 3.
Boy, that's a great serve.
Toromal for the cover. They go back to Layla, down the line, and it's wide.
Well, you can see the trust really of Iris Tolenada on Layla Cruz because she has been playing well, just missed it at that particular hit.
And she was telling Iris that she liked that set. It was fine. So let's see if they will go back to that later on. Singh couldn't get it. Oh, good defense for Des Clemente de Guzman.
Well, Pia Ildefonso actually in here in the 3rd set.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, and she gets the wrath of that de Guzman block.
Oh, that's kept alive by the Foxies. Singh.
Oh, what a dig.
Dug up by Dakis. Easy over. The runner by Des. Picked up easily. Here comes Abellana. And she scores for Farm Fresh.
Well, that's the way to challenge the block. You can see de Guzman actually there, but she put enough angle, enough follow through.
Singh again, straight to Dakis. And Romero couldn't do much with that space.
Yeah, I mean, we have to say Dakis has been defending really well. But you like, for me, the adjustment that Clemente de Guzman made because in the first 2 sets, we saw Louis Romero creating that net touch or hitting it off the blocks. That's why she let it go, and that was smart.
Back set to Viray. Singh couldn't reach it. And that one will bring us to the first technical timeout. The Foxies up by 2.
For Capital One.
back inside the Phil Sports Arena. Set number 3 between the Capital1 Solar Spikers and the Farm Fresh Foxies, who are eager to extend this game as they are trailing behind. But right now here in set 3, they are up by 2 points.
Yeah, and looking good. Again, the challenge now to Farm Fresh is, can you sustain this? Really? I mean, we see good plays, good hits.
Heather, return to sender.
Stat 2, Kate Veray on Heather Gino.
Kate Veray now with 9 points to lead all Farm Fresh scorers. That is inside for Pierre Abellana, who's having a game so far with 7.
Yeah, and I think, is this the biggest lead of Farm Fresh here in this match?
In this match, yes, because in set 2, tatlo lang yung
yeah.
biggest lead nila. Tolenada goes to Des. Kept alive by Dakis. They go to Viray. Cruz was there. Heather again. Going for the drop, but Dakis read it. Oh!
Rachel and Dakis.
Cruz and Singh. Singh was there at the spot, but Cruz went for the touch. And you couldn't blame her, but Farm Fresh forces a timeout from Capital One. Timeout called by the Capital1 Solar Spikers, who are down by 5. Looking for an answer to stop it. Stop this run. No connection between Romero and Ildefonso.
But we have to say, much of the success thus far of Farm Fresh, I feel, is because Dakis has been manning the floor, giving great defense. And that's what we're saying. Sometimes you don't see it, but it's the impact of, if she plays well, you know, that spells a lot of difference for Farm Fresh.
Yeah, she's played differently here in set 3. And then Viray getting the point for Farm Fresh, as they are back with a 5-point lead. Tolenada goes to Ginoo. Abellana with a chase. Oh, but Cruz couldn't angle it properly.
I like the smile, comic relief from Louis Romero. It's like she won't say anything, but she gave us a smile. That says a lot.
Yeah. And I think she was also bothered by teammates surrounding her.
Yeah, that's why communication is important. You have to call it out.
Good first ball, leads to the runner. Parisa Cruz.
Now she makes up for that previous.
And this spike of the set is brought to you by Dunkin', pasalubong ng bayan. Quietly contributing for Farm Fresh with their timely hits. Iris goes to Niegos. It's timed.
Boy, the biggest lead for Farm Fresh.
Viray serving for the Foxies. Tolenada goes back to Sydney. Dakis will give up a free ball.
A lot of sky balls today.
Yeah. Nilipat kay Cruz. But that is out. Too long for Leila. And all of a sudden, Tables have turned here in set 3.
Well, Capital One lapsing into errors. You know, that's a lot of errors here. That's giving, you know, an easier time for Farm Fresh.
Heather again. Picked up by Viray. Somebody touched the net. And it was actually a Solar Spiker who clipped the net.
Yeah, second referee was saying it was Heather Ginoo.
Medyo gigil dun. I think they wanted. Let's take a look at that play. Yep, that was Heather. And now we go to the second technical timeout. Farm Fresh up by 8. SB Finance ang BFF na malalapitan. Back inside the Phil Sports Arena. Crowd here continues to enjoy the match and what could be a longer match we have here as the Foxies are looking good here in set 3.
Well, that's what you're expecting of a team like Farm Fresh, you know, with Rachel and Dacus and the rest. You know, they will be try to make a comeback here in set number 3. Now, Capital One, how will you respond to that?
Again, they check that one. Chance to attack. Abellana from the back with the help of the net.
Everything falling for Farm Fresh.
Look at this one. And Capital One will call a timeout.
Galing din sa kabila. Kasi ini-expect nyo, over yung ball. Hindi ganun. Expectin nyo lahat ng klase ng bola dadating sa inyo. Relax na yung utak nyo eh. Bilisan nyo yung reaction dito sa likuran. Hindi nyo kung kailan makikita nyo naman yung bola kung mababa o mataas. O, alam nyo pabagsak na sa net. Musog na kayong kaunti.
Pierre Abellana has contributed off the bench now with 8 points. Coach Roger Goreyev now fielding in Patty Orindain, looking for a spark, an energizer possibly.
Well, they need desperate times, calls for desperate measures.
Cruz, finally, a much-needed point for Capital One, but they need more of that.
They need a lot more of that. You're talking about Abellana. She's actually keeping Bertolano at the bench.
Defending, scoring, the dive by Doromal. Back set to Cruz. Again, Pierre with the pickup. Takis on the off-speed, set back. Louis with a push. Iris the set. It's inside for Niegos.
You see the way Cruz pushed Niegos because they saw it was kind of out of timed hit, but still they get a point.
Farm Fresh thought about challenging for reaching beyond, but coaching staff says otherwise.
Yeah.
Back-to-back points for the Solar Spikers. It's a bit tight, but Louis Romero finding a way to score.
She's a smart setter, really. When she has that chance to go for that dump, she goes for it.
Serving for Farm Fresh, Rachel and Duckies.
Back to an 8-point lead for Farm Fresh. Takis with the serve. Diegos. Kept alive by Farm Fresh. Doromal able to save. Sing. And she scores.
Well, if you're Capital One, you know, you get points here and there, but you need a run.
Yeah.
If you don't want to force a fourth set, you know, you gotta try to fight and try to win this in straight sets.
Romero able to save it from that misreception. Chance for Capital One. Clemente de Guzman straight to Dakis. Collision between teammates there. Play continues. Sing.
Whoa, good defense.
Saved by Delerio.
Whoa.
Orindain does the same. Leila with the attack. Off the block. Get a point for Capital One on that quality exchange for both teams.
Yeah, agreed. Hard-earned point for Capital One.
Timeout, Farm Fresh.
This one. And Farm Fresh will call for time.
Good defense, ha?
Defense, good defense.
Okay, isang pasa.
Pasala tayo, pasala.
Nice one, nice one.
Organize lang ulit, organize lang ulit.
Side out ulit pagbalik.
Tapos na yun, next point na tayo, next point. Paano gagawin ng paraan?
Watch. Let's go!
Coach Benson wanting to make sure that this lead doesn't disappear.
Well, they have to protect it, and you can hear the voice of Trisha Tubo really trying to push her team. Again, she is out of commission in today's game due to a back injury.
Romero goes to Abellana. Oh, good save from Orindain. Jorel. Naibalik. Patty sets up the play. Cruz with a stutter step. Another try for Capital One. Patty again. Cruz, easy over. Chance for Farm Fresh. Riza. Well, Iris has been getting the first balls, which is why Orindain is setting up the play, but no problem for the Solar Spikers.
She had 3 chances there. Talk about Orindain with those sets, and finally she gets an excellent set at that.
It's been a good substitution for Coach Roger.
Yeah, agree.
5-point lead for Farm Fresh. Good serve. Chance here. Iris to Des. Louis sets up Abellana. Niegos goes to Leila. Covered by Orindain. Tolenada goes middle. Catches the line. And the run continues for Capital One.
So I'd like to ask Leila Cruz, whose set do you like more? Niegos, Orindain, or Tolenada? Because everyone has been feeding her.
That's the thing when you have veterans.
Yeah.
They can do it all.
Well, speaking of veteran, Gonzalez is back in, trying to, you know, create that stop. They want to stop the run of Capital One.
Talk about staying ready. And Niegos wanting to make sure that this serve will go through.
Wow.
That one is a powerful hit coming from Riza Cruz. Emphatic spike.
Yeah, but you have to give it to Gonzalez. I mean, that was a perfect set. That's why she's there.
Tolenada goes back to Des. Bit of a mistime there. Abellana off the block. And they're now at a 20-point mark.
Yeah, you like that response from Farm Fresh. There was a run by Capital One, but they're just charging and charging. And Abellana hit it over.
Yeah.
Two giants. She was in the land of the giants.
Back-to-back points. But immediately halted with that service error.
Well, they will hope that they have created that big enough a lead.
Yeah. And I can see Jolina De La Cruz also not in her warmers anymore. Not sure if we will see her today or tonight. 1-2. It works for Tolenada.
Well, she hasn't gone to that the entire match, and finally that element of surprise.
Oh, they were waiting for her to set up the play, catching the defense off guard, and scoring for Capital One. Viray back on the floor for Farm Fresh. Can they hold on to this lead and hold off the run of the Solar Spikers? Abellana, Orindain with the effort.
Oh, good save.
Cruz was there. They keep it alive. 1-2. Sing.
Good dig.
Takis was there. Pierre again. Solid defense from Orindain. Jorel with the power. And the point.
When you talked about the veterans, we have to say Takis and Orindain have been defending.
Oh, yes.
Spectacularly.
Turning back the clock.
Yeah.
But the run continues and Farm Fresh calls another timeout.
Ganun lang, guys.
Hey, isang point lang, 3-spike na tayo. Tara, tsagayin lang.
Tsagayin natin yung pasa.
Side out lang tayo isa. One pass, side out. Yes.
Let's go!
Putol na. Let's go!
Go, 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 go!
Timeout by the Foxies. And it's all because of the 9-3 run.
Wow.
Mounted by the Solar Spikers.
But what a substitution by Coach Roger, bringing in Patty Orindain.
She has been tremendous off the bench. And another one here, but kept alive by the Foxies. They transfer to Sing.
Oh!
They cut the lead down to 2.
We talk again. I think the term here in the third set are the veterans, because Jorel Singh, what a kill there.
Vintage performances.
Yeah, E for veteran, E for vintage.
And V for victory. Who will get it though?
Yeah.
Oh, but set back.
The point goes to Farm Fresh.
I told you. Louis Romero, you think she's not the tallest of setters, but when she is going for the joust against taller blockers,
Yeah.
her success.
And just has a good nose for,
Yeah.
for that ball. Clemente de Guzman able to put one in.
What a match she's having. You have to say, Clemente de Guzman.
And they continue to put pressure on Farm Fresh.
A 2-point game.
Bertolano is back on the floor, by the way, for Farm Fresh. Takis. Here comes Viray. It goes over. Oh! But Cruz, a bit hesitant to where she'll send that ball.
How huge will that error be? Again, if you want to give a free ball, you better be careful with that. Don't get too, creative
Yeah.
or too playful. Just get it over.
That's why some people just opt to go for the high
Yeah.
free ball, a sky ball. Here comes Des Clemente de Guzman. And that is 4 touches.
Well, Iris Tolenada, if she could get the whistle of the first referee before she blew that whistle, she would.
Still breathing and fighting here in set 3.
But you see the confidence level of Clemente de Guzman.
Yeah.
She was asking for it.
And she has 9 points, by the way. Oh, that drops for Rachel Andakis. Not the strongest of hits, but just enough for Rad.
She knew exactly what she had to do.
Yeah.
And look at that smile.
23 serving 20.
Oh,
It's short for Ildefonso.
nerves setting in.
You can feel the pressure on the side of Farm Fresh. Not a lot of smiles at this point. Maybe this could change it if they get to set point. But they don't. Delerio with a save. The tip, and it works for Cruz. And Farm Fresh is at set point.
What a save there by Luis Romero, keeping that ball in play.
It's all up to Caitlin Viray to serve this one through. Iris goes to Niegos. They save one.
They're still fighting. Farm Fresh needs to end it right here. They gotta win this third set.
All important serve for Patty Orindain, who has showed out off the bench. Romero goes to Dakis. So that's wide. Tough angle for Dakis, and it was out.
She had to stretch her back there, but there's a challenge.
Could it have gone in? Could it have touched the line?
Anxious moments here. But you can see, I mean, Dakis really had to back pedal. Yeah, it was out. And Dip, is it just a one-point game?
Indeed, just a one-point game. After an unsuccessful challenge, the biggest lead of Farm Fresh was at 9 points. And Capital One are within 1. It's through. Romero goes back to Dakis.
Oh, what a dig.
Tolenada goes to Singh. Jorel will score!
Oh!
And ties this game up at 24 all.
What? From 9 points down, you were saying? Come on.
There have only been 2 league changes. And Capital One could add to that here. Extension of the third set. Doromal bumps it to Leila. No coverage. Sent back. And a big block for Rachel Andakis.
That's why she's there, I have to say. Obviously, after coming from a 9-point deficit, clearly momentum is in blue, right? But Dakis is there to just douse water on the flames.
8 points now
Are
for
you kidding me?
Rad. Serving for the set. Second set point. Tolenada goes to Cruz. Chance for Farm Fresh. Bertolano down the line. And Farm Fresh extends the match.
Well, you have to give it for both teams. Farm Fresh showing a different aspect of their game right now. They stayed and won the third set.
Targeting that zone 1. And Farm Fresh stays alive. We go to set number 4. back inside the Phil Sports Arena as we just finished set number 3. And yes, there is an extension. There is a set number 4 with Farm Fresh doing what they could do to be able to extend this match.
Boy, you know, I love that set. I really enjoyed that set. It had everything. It had the drama. But again, when we talk about getting veterans in a team, really, you look at that third set, and that's a clear example of why Takis is in there. Defense, stops, huge stops, really, when needed. Of course, it's not 100%. She has errors, but the impact of Rachel Andakis, that's what we're saying. You know, let's look at some numbers first in terms of attacks. Actually, Capital One ahead by 1, but the blocking of Farm Fresh clearly a strength in their game. But one thing they checked was the errors, you know, equal at 6 apiece. So Farm Fresh, actually, when you look at the numbers, you don't actually feel it because it all boiled down to that last 2 points, right? Because it could have been anyone's game, but Dakis with a huge block, Bertolano with a kill. So we are, it doesn't matter, we are going to a 4th set.
Right. It was Dakis removing her sleeves in set number 3.
Yeah.
And kept her light all throughout that set. Leila Cruz tried her best in that set. She has 13 points tonight. Pierre Abellana making sure that she doesn't get cramps.
Well, she has played extended minutes here in this match. Now, the question is for Capital One. You had that run. Now, clearly, you could have won this in straight sets. You lost it. How are you going to respond here in the 4th set? Did it, like, snuff the energy out of you, or you're mad?
We'll find out. Set number 4 underway here on One Sports, on One Sports Plus, and on Pilipinas Live. Bertolano will get the first point.
I like the shuffling, actually, of Coach Benson Bokbok, bringing in Bertolano at that crucial moment, crucial stages of the 3rd set, and she delivered that final blow.
Tolinada sets up Ginoo. Niegos able to get that point.
Well, you know, but Dip, we have to say, you know, I was so impressed with Patty Orendain coming off the bench, and her defense, her, you know, everything. She did everything that almost got them this win. But what a performance by Orendain.
We can't forget about her stint and the magic bullet of Coach Roger. Just not the happy ending for that set that they hoped for. Rally here. And Turing called for the point, but Capital One will challenge.
Reaching beyond the net.
Yeah.
Part 2.
So we'll see.
But it did look close to the net. You know, I mean, we didn't see too much reaching. We'll see.
Which gives us time to
talk about the format. You like format? Format.
Ayaw na. Reaching beyond the net challenge for Capital One. Last game, their only game won, was back in November 30 against the next-led Chameleons. And they're hoping to change that.
Yeah.
That was when... Oh, it happened also here at the Phil Sports Arena.
Well, after that, they had a 6-game...
6-game losing skid.
Yeah. Farm Fresh with 2.
Yeah. From PLDT and Creamline. So 2 tough opponents. They're hoping to also end their losing streak here and maintain that 8th position as mentioned by Jana earlier in her report. Yun ang ina-aim nung Farm Fresh.
Yeah. But again, you know, going to the next round, you know, the 1 versus 12. Actually, everyone still has a chance,
Yeah.
right? That's what you were talking about actually earlier, that even if you're at the bottom. I guess because a part of that ball is by the tape. I think for you to have a successful reaching beyond the net is when the ball hasn't, any part of the ball hasn't reached the top of the net.
Correct.
And then their opponents put it down, to be clear.
But that time around, part of it was above the tip of the net. So play continues. Dakis. Iris goes to Niegos. And Niegos now has 10 points to her name.
Well, again, we mentioned that as early as the first set, you know, everyone's getting touches. They're getting their chances to hit. That's why you see a very well-balanced scoring for Capital One.
Yeah, just to mention, Cruz has 13, Ginoo and Niegos both have 10 points each. Clemente has 9 and Singh has 8. For the Foxies, it's Viray with 10. It's a misreception. And a service ace for Heather Ginoo, her second of the match. Her third, rather. For the Foxies, Viray has 10, Abellana has 9, Cruz and Dakis have 8 each. Caitlin wants to add to it, but no, says Niegos.
And you know who's happier with that block? I can tell you who. Heather Ginoo. That was for you, Heather Ginoo, because Viray has blocked her a couple of times in this match. What a serve.
Romero goes to Turing, quick on the attack.
Well, they don't have a lot of opportunities, you know, when Turing's in front.
Let's get this report from Jana Ejido. Jana?
Well, Divinarin, can I just say what a set number 3 that was. And now would be a great time to share what I got from Coach Roger Goria back at the dugout of the Capital 1 Solar Spikers. He was telling the team right before this match started, buhay nyo ang volleyball, kaya maglaro kayo at magtrabaho kayo. Well, they are going to need those Coach Roger quotes, especially in between timeouts. And when the Solar Spikers, I saw so many game faces right before the set began, and especially when they're up against a momentum-filled and absolutely lively Farm Fresh Foxies here in set 4, Divinarin.
Thank you, Jana, for that report. Well, hopefully that ignites the fire in the Capital One side again, with Coach Roger giving his words of wisdom as always.
That's decades of knowledge for you. Well, that is, as you were saying, that is just a placement shot. Yeah, we saw a lot of that from Heather Ginoo. Dakis obviously has that in her arsenal.
1 point lead for Capital One. Back with the white shirts. Dakis. Chance here for the Solar Spikers this time. Doromal with the coverage. The reverse.
Good defense.
Bertolano straight to Tolenada. Leila again. Still playable.
Yeah, it is.
And we have a long rally alert. Not until that point.
Again, if you don't hear the whistle of the referee, you play on, because it stops it. When you stop, it stops, you know, the rhythm that you've created.
Yeah. That is a point for Jarrell Singh.
Well, she has been consistent here in this match, no? That's why Coach Roger is opting to keep her in.
Cruz serving 65. Back set, Viray. They swing it to the other side. Clemente able to reach it, but couldn't target it inside. So we are tied here at 6-all.
Yeah, the timing actually was a bit off there.
Number 5, Clemente de Guzman out.
Des Clemente de Guzman will head out. Villegas will enter for the first time for Capital One. That doesn't go over.
Here in the start of the fourth set, very iffy. These two teams are just feeling each other out. You're expecting actually Farm Fresh to start really strong because they pulled that third set.
Takis. That's happened multiple times between Cruz and Singh.
7-all.
Well, that's just the reaction, the reflex of the player. You know, again, it's hard because you just want to try to go for every ball.
Seven all here in set 4. They go to Villegas. Good cover by Cruz and Dolenada with a spike.
Look at how she's egging her team on.
And she sends us to the first technical timeout.
Na-miss niyo ba yung game namin? Kung na-miss niyo, subscribe na to our YouTube channel. Subscribe na!
Back inside the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig as we review the score right now. It's 8-7 in favor of the Foxies, or rather the Capital 1 Solar Spikers after that attack coming from Iris Tolenada.
Yeah, trying to get the scoring column as well.
We await and see if we will have another extension here. Farm Fresh earlier built a huge 8-point lead back in set 3. And just to give a glimpse of how it looked like, Capital One made a big run.
Yeah.
Tied the game up at 24-all and eventually lost it to Farm Fresh.
Yeah, that was a great third set though.
Bertolano. Niegos. And also, there was a net violation.
Boy, really, these middle blockers, you have to say, Villegas, Niegos, Clemente de Guzman, they're looking really comfortable.
Set back. Kept up. Niegos again.
Oh, good save.
Tolenada.
Takis was there.
Good defense for both teams. Tolenada changing things up. Farm Fresh with a scramble. But Takis comes up short.
Yeah, but you know, defense really for both teams. You love the effort. The effort that they're putting into it.
Substitutions for Farm Fresh. Number 7, Romero out. Number 10, Michael.
Well, La Rosa and Gonzalez back in. Again, for Coach Benson, obviously you want a sense of calmness with by putting in Gonzalez.
10 serving 7. La Rosa. Again, set back. Dakis will try and score.
How quick, how easy is it to make up for a previous error? Dakis is showing us exactly that.
And she leads all Farm Fresh scorers with 11 points.
Can you say for her fans, she's back. She's back.
Tolenada goes to Niegos again.
You know, when you know somebody is in the zone or has a hot hand, that is what Tolenada is doing, milking Niegos there in front.
Tolenada will be the one to serve. 11-8. They tried to go to La Rosa. Kino. Cross-court hit and a point.
That's a great set. Really, now because everybody knows that Niegos has the hot hands, they're going to try to guard her, and then I'm going to give it to Gino.
And timeout called by Farm Fresh.
Hindi ko pwedeng maglalabas tayo o free ball. Hindi babalik. Okay?
Tayo, isa natin.
Yes, coach.
1 point at a time. Let's go, let's go. Check na tayo sa depensa.
Sige natin.
Let's go. Let's go!
Timeout called by the Foxies, who are trailing by 4 here in set 4.
Well, let's see right now how the defense of Farm Fresh will respond, because that has been their strength, their net defense.
Doromal wants to clear. Cruz unable to get it. They transfer to the other side to Heather.
Good dig.
Delerio with a save. Bertolano. Oh, good dive and save from Doromal. Same with Bertolano. La Rosa will score at the end of it.
Well, I mean, Coach Benson has been putting in La Rosa. Finally, she gets that much-needed boost. But then she goes back to the bench.
Number 17, Captain Louis Romero.
And Louis Romero is back on the floor after a quick breather. Same with Kate Viray.
Serving for the Foxies, Louis Romero.
Makatuno sees action for the first time. A change in centers. That was read by Hani Toring.
Yeah, that's why she's there. I mean, we know she's a great middle blocker, and she's been reading that connection with Niegos, and finally she gets a hand in that.
Good serve. That will be a net violation. Called on May Makatuno, and the lead down to a single point.
Well, that was a really sharp pass to the net.
Better first ball. Back set to Ginoo.
Good save.
Oh, Heather and Jarell colliding to save that one. And that will sail out. Overcooked by Doromal. And another deadlock here at 12-all.
You know, the key here in this match so far is how to protect leads, right? It's how to protect leads, because both teams obviously are evenly matched. Another overpass.
That 4-point lead disappearing, and Farm Fresh overtaking 13-12. And Capital 1 will call for time.
Sinet sa'yo ni May. Pag nakita niyong nakubabawa na kayo, lihis-lihis na ang palo. Hindi pwedeng aasa natin sa swerte. O maganda laro niya. Pagka ganyan na, nakukubabawa na kayo ng blocker, mag-iisip na kayo. Utak niyo ang kailangan lang.
Farm Fresh doubling their effort here as they come back in the game and retake the lead. And a chance for them here. Doromal pumps it. Janela with a save. Back set to Viray. Oh, good cross-court attack coming from Kate Viray.
How quickly the momentum has shifted jerseys. They're now in white. Good serve.
But Cruz able to stop the run. I believe that was 6 unanswered points prior to the point of Cruz.
Yeah, so much needed point and much needed stop there for Capital One.
Down by 1 here. Free ball. Chance. Rivera in the game. Makatunog goes to Cruz. Louis. Back set to Viray again. This time it's out. And we are tied at 14 all, but Farm Fresh will call for a challenge.
But you can clearly see Singh and Niegos shaking their heads. But we know better.
Hindi tayo pwede magsalita ng tapos.
Because we've seen already that, oh, that touch.
This time, block touch is what they are challenging.
Yeah, all-important challenge, actually.
Coach Benson having a word with his players. No touch.
Yep, no touch. It's funny when you look at that challenge, no? Then you realize when they ask Diego, did you touch it? She's nowhere near.
It was Singh.
She was nowhere near the ball.
I think kus nakapikit si Jorel kaya hindi na namalayan na siya pala yung nandun. Saved by Rivera. Here comes the play. Cruz popped up by Romero. Joust. It's with the side of Farm Fresh. Rica sets up Singh off the block. And the block point once again for Caitlin Viray.
She has been showing us that strength in her game. The net defense. How many ace hitters has she stopped?
3 blocks now for Caitlin Viray. Tied with Honey Toring.
Good serve.
Cruz on the cut. Quinoa from the back.
Good dig.
Takis. May chooses header again. Play continues.
Long rally.
Viray will try. Another chance. Louis goes quick. Rivera to Cruz. Wala pa rin.
Still alive.
Long rally alert once again.
Oh.
And Takis will score.
When you need a point, you go to Rachel Andakis.
That sends us to the second technical timeout.
Bitin na kayo sa games? Watch all the replays on PVL YouTube channel. Subscribe!
Back inside the Phil Sports Arena for the matchup between the Capital1 Solar Spikers, who are going up against a gritty Farm Fresh Foxies who won't go down. They were down 2 sets to none earlier, able to extend after that set 3 win, and now they are ahead by 2 points.
And we have to say, you really admire Farm Fresh because they're down players, you know. Trisha Tubu obviously at the bench. Jolina de la Cruz hasn't played, so they're not complete, but they're still fighting. Because, again, we talked about the importance of this last game here in this round. You want to build something, some foundation going to the next.
Diegos able to get that point, adds to her total of 14. She and Leila Cruz working hand in hand to lead all Capital One scorers. 14 points each.
What a breakout game for these two.
Yeah. Sa kabila naman, Dakis and Viray with 12 points apiece. But Turing, quick on that one.
You know, the efficiency of Honey Turing is really way up there because every time she gets a chance, she gets the point. So you're just hoping that, come on, give me the opportunity to feed it to Turing.
17 serving 15. Singh. Naibalik. Makatuno goes back to Jurel. Third try.
Oh.
And that time, a double contact. Coach Roger quickly calls on Iris
for Capital One, number 10, Iris
to come in.
Well, that was actually a huge risk. You know, that for me, that substitution, not take anything away from Makatuno because she is a seasoned setter as well, but they had that run.
Dakis scores another one.
For Rachel and Dakis.
The fight continues for the Farm Fresh Foxies.
Well, it's Dakis' time. She wants to lead this team to set number 5.
4-point game in set 4.
What a serve.
Oh, but that connection between Tolenada and Villegas will do it.
You know, you called it that element of surprise. You don't normally go to Villegas, not your first option, but there you go. Since they're not prepared, they get the point.
16-19. Louis. Back sets to Viray. Rivera. Back row from Heather.
Good dig.
Bertolano sets up Caitlin on the off speed. And the placement, the push by Riza Cruz.
Playing it smart, you know, just reading your opponent's defense there. Good effort, though, for defense by Capital One.
Farm Fresh now at the 20-point mark. Iris trying to catch the defense off guard, but Bertolano read it like a book. Tolenada this time sets up Singh. Covered by Roma May. Back row hit.
Good dig.
Viray pops it up. Back row for Bertolano. Nabitin, but it went over. Pancake. An attack for Iris. Scramble.
Overpass.
Broken plays for both teams. Singh. Back and forth we go. Dakis. Oh, it's still good.
No.
Doromal. Saved. Oh. And running out of steam for the Solar Spikers.
And the girls are huffing and puffing.
At napakamot ng ulo si Coach Roger calling for a timeout.
Baba na ng bola bago mo naisipan yung gawin. Maganda kasi pag ganyan. Des, balikan mo. Huwag kayo, nasan si Heather, huwag kang pasok ng pasok. Ikaw yun nandun sa dulo eh. Pasok ka ng pasok. Tapos pagka lumipad sa dulo yung bola, tinitingnan mo yung teammate mo kung kukunin o hindi.
Timeout called by the Capital1 Solar Spikers, who find themselves behind by 5.
We enter the game for Capital One. Number 5.
Well, how quickly the fortunes have changed, right? Capital One had a 4-point lead. Now they're down by 5. So the starters back inside. Let's see if the fresh legs will help.
The tip. Oh, and that will be another point.
Rachel and Duckies.
And the little dancey dance for Rachel and Dakis.
Well, if you're Coach Roger, I know what the next practice is for Cruz. For Leila Cruz, trying to retrieve all these balls that you're faced sideways.
Iris again for the 1-2. Naibalik. A chance for reverse to Dakis. And she is feeling it. 15 points for Dakis.
You gotta see this. After the follow through, she knew. She didn't even put her arm down.
Yeah. Making it known.
Yeah.
And they are 2 points away from sending this to a set 5. But Des Clemente de Guzman able to score here.
And you will remember in set number 3, they were down by 9 points. And they made it 24-all. However, you're wondering, where is Pati Orendain?
Yeah, she played well in the previous set.
She was instrumental.
And Farm Fresh is at set point.
Farm Fresh is now at set point.
Coach Roger thinking hard what could be the game plan for a possible 5th set.
And I think it's inevitable because it is a 7-point advantage.
Des Dakis from offense to defense. She's everywhere. Ginoo again.
Yeah.
Dakis. Clemente de Guzman. Roma May will bump it to Ginoo. Nothing going down on the side of Farm Fresh. Except for that one.
Well, it happens to the best of them.
Serving to Capital One. Des Clemente de Guzman.
Well, still 6 set points.
Louis pumps it. Bertolano popped up by Des. Free ball. Could this be it? Louis to Bertolano. Trying to be athletic with that one.
Trying to be smart. Overcooked it.
Farm Fresh calls for time.
Let's go. Yes, kalma, compose tayo, ha?
Kailang.
Team tayo para sa next set.
Isang good pass sa atake.
Strong tayo, and strong.
Nice one tayo, nice one.
Pasahan. Ako, pasahan.
Go.
Leila Cruz, she's been limited to just 1 point in this set.
So serving, Des Clemente de Guzman.
Let's see if they have enough left here. 5 more points that they need to save. And it starts with the service of Clemente de Guzman. Tolenada tosses it to Ginoo, covered. They go back to Heather.
Good dig.
Steady save coming from Delerio, and Dakis puts on the finishing touch here in set number 4, which means we are going to a set number 5.
Well, it was hard-earned, we have to say. But they deserve this, and we deserve to go to a 5th set.
16 points for Rachel and Dakis, half of those in this set, as you see her with her tongue out. But they have one more set left to play against Capital One. Back inside the Phil Sports Arena in Pasig. And we are going to a 5th and final set. And it's the last Tuesday of the elimination, so they want to extend it. And Farm Fresh showed it in those highlights in set number 4.
Well, the 4th set is a great example of if you snooze, you lose. Because, no, really, I mean, at the start of that 4th set, it was clear that Capital One had a run, right? They had a 4-point lead. After that, it's like they fell asleep, right? And then Farm Fresh grabbed the lead and never looked back. I think that was the story. Of course, headed by Rachel Landakis and her great all-around performance. Look at the numbers in attacks. They out-attacked them. I think for the first time, wasn't it even? Anyway, blocking also working. So they use their strength. Farm Fresh, we have to say, they use their strength, their net defense, and they also gave reception problems to Capital One for good serving. So a turnaround of events here really in this match, and we can say going to the 5th set, Farm Fresh has indeed the momentum right now. Capital One to the 3rd and the 4th set, heartbreakers for you, but you still want the win. But you gotta work hard for it.
And there were a couple of there was some shuffling on the side of Capital One that Coach Roger tried to gamble with, didn't really pay off. Right now, we see the attack points. Capital One ahead by 4 over Farm Fresh. We begin set number 5 inside the Phil Sports Arena. As we thank you all for joining us this Tuesday night on One Sports, on One Sports Plus, and on Pilipinas Live. We hope you're enjoying the coverage. Dip Dipianco together with Noreen Go and Jana Ejido. And the Capital One will start off with a service of Des Clemente de Guzman. By the way, Rovina Estrella also in the game for the first time. Oh, nalunod Siniegos.
Well, again, you know, it is the 5th set, and Coach Roger injects a new player. So really, that's his style at this this conference.
For Farm Fresh, it's been Rachel Andakis who started this game. Her first start since 2023, and it's paying off for the Foxies. And Hani Toring delivers an ace.
And you know, for the new fans, we have to say, you hear of names such as, let's say, Mary Jean Balsipabayo, Rachel Landakis. It's so good to showcase like Dakis today. I mean, this is Rachel Landakis.
And still can keep up with the best of them. And the rookies and the new players in the league. Gino able to score off the block.
Boy, you have to keep trying if Viray is there in front of you.
Serving for the Solar Spikers, Iris Tolenada.
First point for Capital One in this set. 20 excellent sets for Iris Tolenada. Louis goes back to the hot hand. Indakis. The flyby for Estrella, and she scores her first point.
Well, Coach Roger had a plan. Obviously, he knew that Estrella is a go-to person as well. So the pressure of the 5th set, no problem.
And the player that Farm Fresh did not get to see in the first 4 sets.
Oh, good dig.
Dug up by Tolenada. Estrella again. They toss it to Viray, off speed, covered by Doromal. Tuniegos they go. Takis again. Saved by Ginoo. Pipe attack from Singh, sails out.
Yeah. Trying to go for a really tough angle, but missed the line. You see the difference in styles of players. Now, some people will be more sure.
Yeah.
And the others really take risks.
Estrella this time from the left pin. Brisa Cruz though. has 12 points to her name.
You love that connection. You've seen it since their collegiate days.
Adamson, Lady Falcons. Toromal sets up the play to Heather. They go back to Cruz. Tolenada transfers the reverse
Near the net. Oh, good save by Estrella.
Kept up. Iris goes middle. Saved by Jack. Janela with a dive. Dakis celebrating before the ball even dropped. And good thing it did.
I want to see that. Oh, yeah. And then she was probably told that there wasn't a point yet.
But that enjoyment is back on the side of the Foxies. Nobody home to save that one from Heather Ginoo.
I think fatigue set in for Bertolano. She has been working hard in terms of defense today.
$13 points, 10 attacks, and 3 aces for Heather Ginoo.
Who has been serving well the entire match.
Oh, that's still playable. Dakis had the right thing in mind, but it just went wide.
Yeah, that was the opportunity presented itself. Yeah, but the error.
Well, we see the entry of Micah La Rosa replacing Kate Viray. Chess match continues for both coaches.
There's no fixed starting unit.
Yeah. Dakis. Oh, Niegos almost had it, but it dropped stale for Rachel and Dakis.
Did you see how? Yeah, I mean, sorry. Did you see how far she was from the net? She was so far.
18 points, I was going to say, for Dakis. Are we going to see a 20-point performance?
Most likely.
Oh, blocked there by Bertolano. Meet you upstairs.
We did say the total package. Eliza Bertolano, now she has blocking.
Leila Cruz is back on the floor. So now the starters, except for Ginoo. And Singh, by the way, also came off the bench. That's going to be a point for Capital One.
You know, you like what Lenada's doing, really feeding Niegos. I mean, giving her also that confidence that it's not just today.
Yeah.
You know, today is a basis of what you can do in future games.
3 players now with 14 points for Capital One. Ginoo, Cruz, and Niegos.
Oh, good save.
Singh will try. Targeting the far end of that and catches the line.
Both teams refusing to give up in this match.
Farm Fresh will call for a timeout. They're still up by 1.
Kailangan yung tatlo?
Tama
Baka nagkakailangan.
Tama yung kailangan.
Okay.
Ano play pag maganda ang pasa? Sa kanya. Ready ako sa Gandhi. Pag Day. Pag Jong. Hindi, si Philip ko pa. Okay. Dito lang. Gano ulit. Louie, let's go. Let's go!
Timeout called there by the Foxies. Capital One behind by a single point. Cruz. continues to score and add to her total. So we go for a court switch. As we go now to Jana Ejido first for this report. Jana?
Hey, Preliminaries, set 5. Both teams are absolutely close matched. Both scores are so tight. Well, here at the sidelines, what I've been observing, Farm Fresh absolutely carrying this momentum right from set 4. We've heard about reverse sweeps. They're very, very much possible. After all, Farm Fresh is very close to making that happen. But you know what? Capital One is close as well. So much more celebration and joy. I'm situated right behind the Capital 1 Solar Spikers a while ago, and I could feel so much liveliness come back into them here in set 5. Take us to the race to 15, Preliminaries.
Thank you, Jana. So this game could go anywhere with how these two teams are playing right now, Nareen.
It's anyone's game, like you said. Really, you can feel both teams wanting the victory, but someone's got to win, someone's got to lose. So we'll see.
And as Jana mentioned, the reverse sweeps, we've seen that a lot of times.
Have you now?
Sing. Another one, and it's inside. Oh, she's caught the line twice.
Yeah, she has been playing big here in the 5th set. Again, no need for sharp hits. Just make sure you get the point. That's a great, great hit by Singh.
7-8 is the score. Romero goes to Bertolano on that swing and score.
Full swing, full effort.
Des a bit too late to cover that one.
Good serve.
Back with the blue shirts. Iris with a reverse to Jorel. Good cover by Doromal. She will give up a high free ball. Takis on the first touch. Louis backs it to Kate. And Viray gets a point.
Boy, this is an all-important 3-point advantage for Farm Fresh. Again, we did say both teams evenly matched. The 3 points is a cushion.
Takis. Oh, great effort. Oh, but she is hurt. So she is holding on to her right leg.
Could be cramps.
Yeah.
Could be cramps. Yeah, it is cramps. She started out most of all the sets, I think,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Well, look at her go, still giving it her all, sacrificing her body. A good thing it's just cramps. Pierre Abellana, who's also played well, will replace Takis. Onting pagpag sa bench. Let's see if she'll be able to return here. But it's now just 5 points away for Farm Fresh. Tolenada goes to Clemente de Guzman.
Huge point. Look at the fans.
One more time. Iris to Des. Bertolano. Ang layo na pinanggalingan. But still able to get a point.
That was just smart. She saw the blockers. Her momentum was going. It was a broad jump. She was able to brush it off the blockers and avoid the net.
So now with Bertolano's point, both teams have 5 players who are in double-digit scoring. Guino fires one back.
It's a 1-point game. Right? They won't budge both these teams.
Now, if you're Capital One, you don't want to waste it because they were up 2-0, and
right.
if this goes to the side of the Foxies, it's a waste.
It is, but well, you look at the Farm Fresh Foxies also pulling together. You know, Sans no Trishatubu.
And Honey Toring delivers that one. Capital One will call a timeout.
Bago pa niya gawin yung sunog, nandoon na kayo. Para hindi niya magawa yung gusto niya. Ha? Resiban nyo ng maayos para tingin nyo sa harap para hindi tayo puro open. Pag naka-receive ng maganda, may diskarte tayo yung setter na maayos. Resiban nyo lang, ha?
Ate, huwag na natin bitawan, ha? Kaya pa yan, kaya pa yan.
Timeout called by Coach Roger Gorayev. His team down by 2 points.
Still serving for the Foxies, Honey Toring.
They're the final game of eliminations for both of these teams.
And we did expect this, no? An all-out war between both these teams.
And Kino with that spike and her 16th point of the match. Romero back sets to Viray. It's out. Asking for a check. They will challenge. Nobody letting up.
Nobody admitting.
Yep. And an all-important challenge here for the Foxies.
Is this for a tie? I mean, if they lose the challenge.
If they lose the challenge, tapla tayo at 12 all.
Whoa! Okay, so it was successful. I think that restores a 2-point lead.
I think that was a Heather Ginoo. That was her.
But nobody wanted to admit it.
So now, a 2-point lead for Farm Fresh. And they are 2 points away from completing the reverse sweep. Chance here. Cruz puts Farm Fresh at match point.
Timeout, Capital One.
One more timeout.
One last time for Coach Roger to huddle his team.
Hindi pag kumapig siya papunta rito, lugaw-lugaw na yung palo niya. Ano ba ang binablock mo? Talon ka lang ng talon, ititingala mo. Oras de peligro na eh. Talon ka lang ng talon doon, wala kang mablock. Buti, di ka nalulunod. Sundan mo siya kahit anong mangyari, asawain mo yung bola na yun.
Let's go. Positive. Kapitan!
The game where Capital1 Solar Spikers were up 2-0. And Farm Fresh Foxies switching things up, led by their veteran Rachel Andakis and the rest of the players who have stepped up. They are now at match point. Niegos couldn't get it. Junella with a save.
Chance.
Abellana. Doromal was there. Tolenada goes to Ginoo. Doromal with a cover. Cruz will try and score.
Boy, Capital One is saying, not yet. We saw some fight within us.
Dakis will check back in for Abellana. The game that she started and the game that she will finish.
Yeah.
Her first time starting since 2023 when she was still wearing a different jersey. Can they end it here? Romero goes to Rachel Andakis. Saved by Ginoo. Singh. Bertolano's there. Cruz.
Oh, still alive.
Doromal will bump it to Jorel. Delerio for the pickup. Dakis with the approach, the swing, and the score for the final point for Queen Rad, getting it.
Cramps and all. Cramps and all.
Vintage performance.
They stunned. We're stunned. I mean, really, great game at both these teams, but Dakis. Rachel
Wow.
and Dakis. Wow. Agree.
And the Farm Fresh Foxies complete the reverse sweep and will end the eliminations with a 5-6 record. Meanwhile, for Capital One, they will move forward with a 1-10 standing.
But we don't know yet if they're 12 or 11, right? We're gonna see after Saturday. Yeah.
Next Led and Galleries are also in that same territory. So there will be some movement still. But Farm Fresh, with their goal of being at the number 8, is at the good spot. And they win this one. Our player of the game is with our very own Jana Ejido. Go ahead, Jana.
Thanks so much, Div. I'm with our player of the game, Rachel Dakis of the Farm Fresh Foxies. Fresh after a 5-setter. 19 points coming off of 17 attacks, 2 blocks, and 13 excellent digs, 6 excellent receptions. Rad, welcome back to the player of the game interview. This time as a Farm Fresh Foxy. What a game. Tell me your thoughts. 5 sets today.
Welcome back talaga. So ito yung first 5th set ko, pagkabalik ko. Ang mindset ko naman, kaya naman ako kinuha ng Farm Fresh is para tumulong. So ginampanan ko lang naman yung aking trabaho. Nag-struggle ako ng first and second, but naka-adjust yung buong team. Kung hindi dahil sa team na to, lahat kami nag-adjust, kaya gumanda din yung game namin. So saludo din talaga ako sa team and kay coach.
And tell me na nag-cramps ka nung 5th set. How are you able to still score that final point para makuha yung panalo na to?
Of course, syempre sanay tayo dyan sa labanan na gano'n. Yun yung mga gusto natin, yung mga crucial talaga. So happy ako, naging maganda yung resulta. So ayun, pagpapatuloy lang namin yung pagtatrabaho namin.
And finally, last game yun na sa prelims, qualifying round next. What's the game plan for you?
Yun nga, focus lang kami sa present. So nanalo kami sa game na to, paghahandaan namin yung next game. And yun, saludo lang talaga ako sa team na to kahit nagsistruggle kami. Pero alam mo yun, nakita ko talagang lumaban yung buong team ng pusong-puso, pati yung mga coaches natin.
Alright, any greetings? Anyone you'd like to thank? Go ahead.
Maraming salamat po sa sumusuporta sa Farm Fresh and sa mga teammates ko! Happy birthday, Lorraine! And then yung family ko po. And then, supportahan niyo po yung Spanish bread joke lang, yung Farm de Manila. Maraming salamat po. And sa Lau family, thank you so much. Thank you po. Happy birthday, RE! Thank you.
Alright, congratulations once again, Rachel Dakis, your player of the game this Tuesday doubleheader, Preliminaries.
Thank you, Jana. And there you have it, our player of the game, Rachel and Dakis, serving freshly baked goods and serving points here in the PVL. Our games will continue on Thursday here at the Phil Sports Arena. The Creamline Cool Smashers will look to get back on the winning track as they face the Galleries Tower High Risers, who are also hungry for a win. And will be followed by the next Chameleons, also avoiding that lower part of the standings as they go against the Petrogas Angels for our second game. That does it for our coverage tonight. The reverse sweep for the Farm Fresh Foxies over the Capital1 Solar Spikers. On behalf of our courtside reporter, Jana Ejido, my partner, Noriko, my name is Dip Dipianco, saying thank you for watching the 2025 PVL All-Filipino Conference. And stay tuned. Keep watching for the final 2 game days of our eliminations here at the heart of volleyball.